Board of Trustees of the Harris County Department of Education now convened in a called board meeting on Wednesday, July 30th, 2025, in the boardroom at 6300 Irvington Boulevard, Texas, at 1:02 p.m. This is a rescheduled board meeting, resulting in lack of quorum from our regular board meeting earlier this month. We wish to extend a warm welcome to everyone present at this board meeting of trustees. As trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to reports from the superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and set policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the department are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to items on today's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. The meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by section 551.071 to 551.084, inclusive of the Texas Government Code. I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking and that cell phones are turned off or in silent mode. Thank you for taking time today to join us and for your interest in the Harris County Department of Education. Welcome, everyone. So we will begin with invocation. Brandy Bullock.
Please bow. Lord, we thank you for this day and the opportunity to come to you in prayer. We pray for everyone represented here today as we gather to discuss the day's agenda and make necessary decisions regarding our upcoming school year. We pray that you continue to bless the lives of the children and families that we serve from the work that we do. These blessings we ask in your name. Amen.
And next, the pledges with Gabriel Moya.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, we don't have anyone for open forum, so we will move on to the public hearing on HCDE 2025-26 budget.
Minimize. It's not at the top. No, it's from last month. Okay, the 25-26 annual budget summary. There was a budget workshop projected on July the 16th, and then also for adoption on July 16th. And so today, it's been rescheduled for the adoption. I'm going to go through just the overall and not through all the detail. Let me get through to the totals. The total budget is 156 million, 78.9 in general fund, 43.6 in the special revenue fund, debt service 3.9 million, capital projects 10.4 million, internal service fund 7.5 million, and enterprise 12.4 million. What's included in the budget? Outflows of 78.9 and inflows of 78 million. Included in the budget, it's 934,560 of a generator replacement for the Irvington building, Head Start support for a 15 minimum wage plan of 200,000, compensation plan of 1,297,945, 11.6 new FTEs totaling $646,084. Health insurance employee only cost increase of 280,000, and transfer out for payments of debt service of 3,882,929. It also includes Head Start Center Manager stipends of 188,000, OVNI awards to divisions of 198,000, and Educational Foundation 300,000. The inflows in the general fund include fees for services 36%, property tax revenue at 42%, indirect costs 4%, transfers in primarily from choice 7%, other 2%, and then state funding for the TRS on behalf at 6%. Fee for service revenues, 36% made up of school-based therapy, 17%, special schools, 16%, choice cooperative, 10%, records management, 3%, and other divisions, 1%. Including in the budget, the compensation plans updates, again, to continue to retain talent and incentives and stipends, capital improvement plans, and projected fiscal year 26 financial plan. In school-based therapy, the major clients are Katy, Houston ISD, Cy-Fair, Spring, and Spring Branch. And rates were increased by 5% for this fiscal year. And you see the amounts by each of the major clients. The top 3 clients make up 77%, and the top 5 clients make 88% of the business. In the schools divisions contracted services or seats, we have Fortis Academy 47, AB School East 123, AB School West 146, High Point East 213. And the rates for this year, 11,500 for High Point East in county, out of county 13,700, AB schools 24,050, out of county 29,750, Fortis, no fees for in county, and out of county 8,200. And those are the increases in the rates, 3% and 1%, with the exception of Fortis at 8%. And this is an allocation of the fees for services by school district for all the divisions, and the allocation, this is for 23-24. We will gather the 24-25 as we finish the fiscal year. The top 4 or 5 Cypress, Fairbanks, Katy, Houston ISD, other out of county, and Spring ISD. And then we also have ALEAF and then other universities and governmental units and nonprofits. The general fund expenditures overall are 68% payroll, 7% contracted services, 6% supplies, 12% miscellaneous operating costs, and capital outlay 1%. And transfers out of 8% to other funds. In terms of salary increases, general fund 15 minimum starting salary and also 2% salary increase. Health insurance at $280,000. Head Start support the staff, 15 minimum start salary and CPI of 2% as grant is available. And Head Start centers stipends at $10,000 each. And depending on grant awards, 2% for grants, again, to be determined based on availability of grant funding. The total cost would be $2,612,029. Items in the capital projects and maintenance notes that are included: facilities, construction, AB West AC units, $493,240. Egress doors at east and west, $45,000. Coolwood gate operators, $50,000. Upgrading Qualtrics, $35,000, and $10,000 for the HR portion. Lighting, $35,000, and other miscellaneous seating and iPads for the special schools. And a transfer for the Irvington generator at $934,560. That one will come out from reserves, and all the other ones from the maintenance notes. The total capital projects uses will be $1,808,557. We're in the process of looking at AB North and a feasibility study, looking at sustainability plan, a financing plan, and a leverage plan for the projection of the project. The projection is that we will use a lease revenue bond proposal projected at approximately $15 million, funding for land acquisition, and one-time use of fund balance, and an additional debt ratio or debt service cost of between $850,000 and 1%. As interest rates have moved up, that number may be a little higher because of the interest that it has moved up a little bit. Similar to AB West, the cost of operations is 4.4, 75% self-sustaining, and additional tax support of $1.1 million. The OMNI awards that were awarded for 5 initiatives, looking at the mastery objective, national and also innovative, in-county and collaborative and sustainable, and leverage. There were create training modules for therapy, academic support, Head Start Leadership Academy, implement college and career programs, case $48,000, AB West $50,000, adult ed transition program, and then HIPON, the art studio at $50,000. Property tax view, we're projecting the budget right now at $688 billion. This week we will receive the preliminary estimated values from the appraisal district, and we will compare to this number to see where we're higher or lower than the projection. It is estimated at that the rate for next year targeted at 0.004798. Again, we will be depending on where the values end up at the end of this month. Excuse me. The growth on the values since 2021, it has grown $27 billion in 21 to $516 billion in 22, 556 in 23, 647 in 24, 657 in 25, and then we're projecting 688 in this year. So the increases, as you can see, the biggest ones were in 23 and 24, but it's kind of leveled out a little bit in 25, and now in 26, we're projecting hopefully an increase of $31 billion. But if you see this is because of those increases in the values, there's been a decline in the tax rate for the last 10 years, and this will be the 11th year that projected to be doing that for fiscal year '26. We will calculate the non-new revenue rate and the voter approved rate for the August board meeting. The return on tax dollars, I'm sorry. So this is 144 million in revenues. Harris County tax dollars, 33.1, fee for services, 39 million, and grants at 72 million. Return and self-supported by divisions are, you look at revenues to expenses and the tax and where the tax is allocated by division, and so they are outlined in this chart. So the tax revenue to total revenue is 22.9%, which is targeted well within the 25% that we have been projecting in the last few years. It is projected that we earn $3.37 projected earned per $1 in tax. The projected fund balance at the end of 26 is projected to still be at 33.3. We are at projected right now 34.2 plus and minus during the year. So again, the projection is at 33.3. We do have 5 stars from the controller's office, and the next step is to have a public hearing, any input from the public, and then approve the budget, and then the next would be the tax rate in the month of September. And at this time, we would entertain comments on the budget from the public.
Thank you very much. I'm recalling from several months ago a conversation that we had voicing concern for Case for Kids to be able to receive more funding in upcoming budgets because of the concern of them losing outside resources through some of the ISDs. What is the difference in the budget from last year to this proposed budget?
The difference in terms of increase expenditure to expenditure or revenue to revenue?
I just want to know how much we are going to be funding this, not necessarily whether or not they're bringing in more funds, because
You're talking overall budget or just case?
for Case specifically.
I'd have to look for it here. Give me a second. Well, I should go to the table of contents.
I tried to catch it in one of the slides, but I don't think that it was specifically stating between this year and last year's budget.
This is the local support only. This is not the grant from the state. So this is 883,000 versus 910,000 this last year. Let me make it a little bit bigger.
So what I'm seeing is that last year, the budget of what we were able to support local after-school programs with was 910,000, and this year we're proposing 883,000.
Yes, and the main reason is the facility charges and other allocated things that are part of the allocation for indirect cost. Because every year we have to allocate based on square footage and the cost of utilities and maintenance and so on. So that number is going to deviate because of the allocation.
What I wanted to ensure was that we were able to support the expansion of programs where they might be looking for additional support. Maybe not that existed previously, but I want to ensure that our case program is able to expand.
Comments from Superintendent Colbert?
Dr. Mesquith, does your number include our new program out at Barrett Station?
No,
And so how much have we allocated to that program?
350,000
So you could take that number and add it to,
to the 883
yeah. And so that program started when?
this fiscal year.
It's a
In,
case program
this fiscal year.
specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah, this fiscal year, and they're not going to use the entire amount, so it's going to roll over into the new year.
But we've also funded it for the upcoming fiscal year, correct?
It is targeted to be doing that.
So I don't know if you remember, but we created the new program out at Barrett Station once we determined that we could no longer do equine therapy. And we're collaborating with Black Cowboys and Cowgirls Association out there. And it's an extensive program that also collaborates with Crosby ISD. That program didn't get started till the spring semester. And what Dr. Mesquith is saying is we allocated money for it, but because we started it late in the spring, we haven't used all that money. So some of that money's carrying over to next year. But the bigger thing is the programmatic point that we're at the infancy stage of that.
And that
so-
one program is 300,000 that's being focused there. That's really
An
high
extensive
considering how many programs are being run with 910,000. I don't want to necessarily need that answer right now, but I think it's a lot, right? My concern, and I think that it was voiced from multiple trustees, was that we are the entity which is expected to help pick up the slack in a lot of these situations where ISDs, we're going to have to be cutting programs. And if we're cutting back our funding, we're not going to be able to do that. I just want to be able to ensure that we have the capability to focus funds in Case for Kids to be able to expand where it's needed and look for the areas where we can help.
Yep. I feel confident that we're doing that. And after having several conversations with the superintendent from Crosby, who's really excited about the program that we have out there, very concerned when there was threats to the federal funding. I mean, I was the first person that she called because she had a very thin budget, as you know, and you spoke to. Many of the school districts are facing budget deficits throughout the state. I think that's a program that's got some legs. It's at its infancy stage, and maybe something, if it is successful, we could replicate that even in other places. To be fair, we did allocate $300,000. They actually wanted more. It's a pretty extensive program that looks pretty good so far, so I'm really happy with it. We can get more information to the board if you want.
I would be interested in more information on that.
Sure.
Are there any trustees that have any thoughts to expand on that previous conversation that we had?
Trustee McGee's lit up.
No, well, I am, not just the mic, but thank you, Madam Chair. And I know this really section should be for the public hearing, and really it's more appropriate for us to discuss the budget when it gets to the action item 8. So I just kind of.
Yeah, I wanted to bounce that back out to call for any public comments. Seeing none?
Also want to point out that there's another local support that goes to CASE, and that's the 550,000 that we have to match for HCAC. And that brings in some other revenue.
Maybe between now and when the budget item comes up for approval, you can add all those numbers together.
Sure.
Okay. Dr. Bisqua, do you have anything else to add before I close the public hearing?
No, the total number is 1.7 million, 1,783,777 from local.
Okay, so with that, we will close the public hearing at 1:26 PM. All right, moving on to reports and presentations with the superintendent's monthly report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just really have two things that I want to bring to the board's attention. First, we have our convocation next week on Friday. I expect to see all of you there. We will be having a sneaker contest, and there might be even a little sneaker stadium. So I expect you to wear your favorite tennis shoes from high school. That's the challenge. I know some of y'all may be wearing some Converse, trusty Cantu, or some Kangaroos or some British Knights, but everybody is going to be in tennis shoes next Friday. So please dress accordingly. This is the opportunity that we get that fellowship, but more than anything, symbolically get ready to start school again. When I first got here, it's easy for a Department of Education to get embedded in this cycle that you can't separate one year from another. When we were designed to service the public, specifically school districts. So this is our attempt to stay into the rhythm of school districts and start when they start. And so convocation is very symbolic of that. Probably the most significant thing is just being around the people with a common cause. And I'm really looking forward to it. I've had to rewrite the last half of my speech 5 times over the past 3 weeks because of all the funding issues that have been happening. So please, you've got a VIP parking. You need to put this on your dash in your car, and it will allow you to park behind the church. So you'll be right at the entrance, the back entrance of the church. So hold on to that. The only other thing I'd like to update you on is we're going to actually start school on August 25th. I will ultimately do a tour of our facilities either next week or the week after. And, we have a tremendous amount of professional development that's happening with all of our teachers and administrators. Our therapists are getting back together on Wednesday. So everything is winding up, getting ready for school to start again. And so there's a lot of energy and stress right now of everybody trying to get everything ready. With that, that's all I have.
Thank you. All right, on to the annual division update with business services.
Now, Dr. Mesqua, I noticed all these yellow shirts.
Yes.
And I couldn't help but think that y'all are like the Bumblebee Gang or something like that.
We're the Yellow Jacket.
You're the Yellow Jackets. I like that even better.
This is a joint presentation between Business and Procurement Office. Marcia Leiva is the Chief Accounting Officer, and our Procurement Officer is Dr. Johnson. And I'd like to introduce our business and procurement staff. They're the highlight of the presentation. So if you would stand, please. These are the folks that get everything together, and the result, that everything you see every month and annually, and the awards and everything that you see, they're responsible for every bit of information that you receive. So we have over 74 years of experience, and we focus on primarily goal 1, 2, and 3 within the budget. So this is what I call our wall-ranking finance office staff, and we have an average tenure of 6.5, so it's a fairly young group. 19 members in the accounting office, and accounting, payroll, accounts payable and receivable, and administration. And then we also have 8 staff members in the procurement office. So this is a comparison in our highlights, and there's the awards that we receive. And as you compare with other school districts, we kind of outdo most of them. They may have 1 or 2, but they don't have 10 like we have on an annual basis. So in procurement, we have 56 solicitations, 729 contracts that you see annually. We issued 1,894 purchase orders, 504 vendor packets, and processed 411 agenda items. And the majority, case and special schools, are the ones that have the bulk of the contracts that come to the board. All the other ones, you see the percentages there. In terms of the purchase orders, highest been Case, Head Start, and Construction Service in terms of the value of the purchase orders. A total of $40,373,459. And so you can see here the progression of the dollar amounts, the value, and the number of purchase orders over a period of time. The P-card transactions, we have 7,898 transactions, 1.7 million, on an average of $215 per transaction. And we have 90 cards and growing. We have a few more for this fiscal year. I believe we are 96. So this was from 23-24. The majority are in facilities, choice, and special schools. That's we have the double digits, and Center for Education Success. All the other ones have minimum 1 or 2 cards between those divisions. So we're looking at digitalize, and we're focusing on workflows, contract management platforms, and authentication software that we're looking to make sure that our processes are all electronic and that we reduce the amount of time that it takes to process things. We've done presentations at various trainings. Both Dr. Johnson and Ms. Leiva and myself have done presentations, and we asked to present on procurement cards, procurement process, accounting, risk assessment, and various things. We also conduct community outreach at various chambers of commerce, where we ask to do presentations at those groups. So we continue to do outreach in working with client and engagement and the various chambers of commerce here in Houston. We also have what's called the annual procurement, annual supplier showcase, which is IPASS, where we try to focus on bringing in more small businesses to participate in our RFPs and processes. And just this week, we presented at the National Institute of Government Procurement Professionals, Dr. Johnson, Ms. Roman, and myself in Denver, and then Ms. Leiva as a request from Representative Congress Luttrell on senior fraud awareness in Conroe here yesterday. We continue to do community work. We annually do provide gifts for some of the Compton students in Head Start program, so our staff participates in those programs. This is the TASBO 2024 Excellence in Business and Procurement. These are the 2 awards that we received from TASBO. You have to get one to get to the other one, so you got to be able to meet the requirements in order to meet both of them. In terms of the ratios, dollars and cents for the organization, we're at 5% debt to income ratio. We have a strong 4.8 liquidity ratio. Most organizations are in the 1 or 2. We're at a very strong 4.8. Debt to asset ratio, we're at 20%. Return on assets, we're at 13%. Return on equity, if you were to compare us to a private sector, we're at 26%. Our debt per capita is 16.18. Property taxes per capita, 5.33. Debt service load is a low 3%. On assigned fund balance, 21%, very strong. And then gross operating revenue is $8.9 million, primarily because of choice. Operating measures in terms of employees and W-2s and 1099s, as you see the comparison over a 5-year period. How much do we bill? Again, we're at $39 million in billing, and then the budget is now, as you saw earlier today, $156 million, where we were back in 19 only at $102 million. Number of grants that we have right now, 31, grant expenditures of $35 million, and fee for service out of county, $694,000. We process over 3,100 journal entries. And we also provide services to Stafford, Hitchcock, and Tejano as they outsource their back office, business office. This is part of our controller's office information that we'll have on our website. Revenue to expense per capita, 24.63. Debt per capita, 5.9. And purchases per capita, 6.7. And then we continue to participate in various outreach and also presentations throughout here in Texas and also nationwide. And we continue to participate primarily with TASBO, which is what school districts rely on to get assistance for their business office. Trends, as I mentioned, workflows, authentication software, and service delivery, and then continue with virtual conferences and attending and collaborate through webinars. What questions do you have?
Questions, anyone? Superintendent Colbert?
I'd just like to say that our business and purchasing divisions are really the closest thing that you can find to exceptional. We see the number of plaques and awards, and Dr. Amesqua is extremely proficient at getting us patches and stickers and everything else about everything that they've won. But I would say that you can't buy those awards. It's an objective perspective from an entity outside of this organization that recognizes and creates a standard. And then they identify us as meeting that standard. It's not something that you can choose to get. You don't have to just apply and you automatically get it. You have to have done something. And so we have a division here that meets that standard every single time. And they are exceptional. And I never, ever worry about that corner of this building. They're down in the basement with no windows.
Can't get distracted.
They got all kinds of pancake machines and
A freezer.
they got a freezer with ice cream in it because they know they get locked in there and they can't come out until everybody gets paid. But man, y'all do such a fantastic job, and y'all work as a team, and y'all, you don't like to lose. And I love the fact that we have a division that's led by Dr. Amesqua, who has a pretty difficult standard that sometimes I even challenge him to meet it, but y'all have just done such a wonderful job, and you just don't know how much we appreciate you. So thank you so much.
Trustee McGee?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I didn't have any questions, certainly, Dr. Mesqua. I certainly echo each of the sentiments of the superintendent, too. And can we talk about how great they are now? Yes. I've been trying for months, because when we got the award, so certainly this speaks to my heart for not just for business services, but for the entire, all of those that serve the public and HCDE. So we're so grateful for what you do. And I still value public service. I know some may not. But we certainly value public service, and so we're so grateful. And so really the awards are simply a reflection of the outstanding job that you do. You see the yellow with the reflection. Did y'all get that? So it's a reflection of the outstanding job that each of you do. You mentioned, Superintendent, that these awards aren't just given. I know some of the detailed criteria that's involved in getting the excellence in financial management from TASBO, 32 school districts. When I started school business finance in 1998, at TEA, there were 1,040 school districts, and now there are slightly fewer than that, of course, but then you've got charter schools and all of that too. So out of that number, for 32 to receive something is really noteworthy, absolutely consistent, and it's beyond exceptional, actually, the work that you do, and so we're so appreciative of it too. So I rest easy about the finances, knowing they're in good hands, and so you each of you do an outstanding job. Really, really fortunate to. We're blessed to have you as a part of HCDE.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Don't go too far, Dr. Amesqua. Any other reports from board members concerning any attendance and participation? Trustee Gantu?
Yeah, I just want to take a moment to recognize our Case for Kids division, specifically Dr. Carruthers, and also support from our Chief of Staff, Ms. Bartz. Together with those HCDE leaders and their staff, they collaborated with the East Aldine District, Children at Risk, Baker Ripley, Harris County, Precinct 2, and I think I'm missing, and Aldine ISD. And we put together a symposium on youth development last week to talk about the very thing that you were addressing earlier, Trustee, that, we need more youth programs, more youth development services, opportunities, choices throughout the county to better serve our youth, to prepare them for the future. It's, as I said on the campaign trail, what we invest in our youth is what we're investing in the future. So anyway, we were hoping to be able to make a case for building on top of what we have, the base, the foundation we have here at HCDE, where we serve 15,000 youth, which to me is not enough. And so we started planning that event, and in the midst of it, we got the news about the cuts at the federal level, and thank goodness those were restored, but just yet again, we are still kind of back at the starting blocks. We need more support from our city, county, state, policymakers, and elected officials so that we can do more for our youth. And I just wanted to share this gratitude with our Chief of Staff, our Director of Case for supporting our efforts, and hopefully we will take this message that we have compiled the data, and we now have a budding coalition that's going to be pushing this message to our local and state and national leaders. And so I'm proud to say that people in the community, different organizations that I mentioned, are working closely with HCDE on this issue. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Great. So we'll move on. Report from any of the board committees, any of the committee chairs. I don't think we're going to have any. And so now back to monthly financial reports.
One time of the month that we will not have people walk out. Okay, financial highlights. All our information is posted on our website. The top 14 highlight points for June were $112,000 in tax revenue this month. Our next payment is on August the 1st, a couple days from now. Total revenues at 72%, target is at 83%. Total expenditures at 66%, target is at 83%. $44 million in equity, 14,756 in June donations. Values at 656 billion. 8 million in benefit variance for choice. Foundation at 266,000 in equity, 13% percentage for small business. 99% Irvington project complete. Phase 1 project suspending retainage release, and then the board budget for adoption here later on in the agenda. And 1 budget amendments for approval. Did want to highlight this because it is another exceptional audit for Choice. Choice goes through an extended audit, not just the regular audit that we go annually. We do a special review to make sure that they comply with the requirements. And so that's a special audit that we engage for Choice Partners, and they basically give us an external audit that identifies all the federal requirements that we have to follow, all the board approvals and so on. So this is the letter that we get for Choice. Not many other cooperatives do that, and this is one exceptional cooperative that goes above and beyond as well. The calendar, the tax values to be received by August, and then tax rate adoption in the month of September. We're at 44,388,000 in equity, our assets and liabilities. And year-to-date, we have excess current revenues over resources of 13.1 million, which we'll use between now and the end of the year. Our ratios as of June, 36% in unassigned balance. Working capital, we're at 47%, a strong 47 million. Unassigned fund balance ratio, 40%. Debt-to-income ratio, 4.3. Our combined debt as of now is 57 million in principal and 24 million in interest. Our tax revenue, we're at 27% overall from our total revenue, and indirect costs of 2.8%. Our fee for service is at 19%, the same as last year, and our growth ratio is at -11, primarily because some of the programs that we didn't receive from our AB hold for our seats. Previous budget amendments, we had five budget amendments totaling 3,410,450. And we have inflows of 89% versus 72% budget to actual. Expenditures, we're at 69% and overall 66%. So that's a good ratio that we have more revenues than expenses as of this time, with only 2 months left in the year. Our donations is at 373,164. And donations report primarily for Head Start and Center for Safe Schools are some of the donations. We're at 656 billion in terms of the values, and so we have 1 more month to see how we're going to end up the fiscal year. Total taxes collected were 99%. A total 98.7% when you include also some of the delinquent taxes. Current year-to-date, we have 794,333 for fees that we paid for HCAD and also the tax office. Again, we're 99% and 99.1% from 1 year to the next. We have a disbursement report for cash register. It's 4,451,175. 516 transactions, 776 P-card transactions, 6 transfers totaling 4.5 million. In our segment division data, we have Center for Education Success with a tax benefit variance of 1.3 million, records management 600,000, therapy 1.7, and schools 5.7. And then we have Choice that have a 8.5 benefit variance back to the general fund. In our June meeting, we had this budget amendment for $2,685,000 in appropriations and $4.6 million in revenues, and that's basically transferring the money from Choice to general fund. The foundation, we are at $266,335. That's the net equity that is still right now in the educational foundation. In terms of our small business report, we continue to work with that information from our vendors, and we are at small businesses divided by the total, we're at 13%, or basically 16,640,000 that are non-small business. Small businesses are 2,519,912, and government and utilities 3,896,907. The detail of the small businesses are outlined there in the presentation. In terms of our Construction projects, we have in the PFC funds of $1,781,000. That is in a lot because of the equity and retainage that we have pending. And maintenance notes, we have $1,680,248 for the 2020 maintenance note. And the retainage that we have pending so far is $1,258,402. From the 24 maintenance notes, we have $9,957,619 available in the maintenance note account. And we have $308,424 from the 2024 retainage accounts for the Irvington building. Again, all of them are 99%, with the exception of some of the retainage that need to be paid, so that will be at 100%. The maintenance notes that are available right now, this is a list of all the maintenance notes and projects that are available, and that is $8,790,657. And for the Irvington project, from both of the notes, it's $11,781,519. That's the report for the month of June. What questions do you have for the first report?
Sorry. Hey, I just had a really quick question back from slide 4.
I know what it is.
Could you help me understand on number 3 why we are 11% off of target?
No, this was a number that should have been at 89% because that number's already over here, and I just realized that that number should be, where is it?
I don't mind number 4 expenditures being lower, but if we're
Here.
lower on revenues.
Overall, 72%? Yeah, primarily because of taxes. I did the budget amendment last month for the $1 million difference that was presented to lower.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But the general fund, we're at 89%. Overall, we're at 72. And I really think I should place the 89% on top instead of just 72. Okay. Yeah, because we're going to focus most on general fund instead of the overall. Mm-hmm. The investment report for the month of June, GTOT, all our policies are certified by GTOT. And Fed funds rate, I need to check the media, see if the Fed has changed the rates this month or not. But we are at, this is the rate for the 1 month all the way to a 30-year note. As you can see, the rates is kind of getting, just flattening of the yield curve. Investment by fund, we have $61,720,295 in terms of our portfolio. Most of it is in Texas Class 14%, Techstar 29%, 7% in Chase, 30% in Lone Star, and 20% in TexPool. For the PFC, we still have $348,584 that are in the bank account at Bank of Texas. And the difference in the portfolio is basically the use of the construction funds, negative 8% from 1 year to the next. Our funds are overnight at 61.3, which are the highest rates at this point in time, and we need to determine where the rates are going to either go up or down or extend some of our maturities for the investments. We've earned year-to-date $2,053,516, and the PFC $26,178. We're earning 4.28 on our investments, And this is the range of where they've been. Like a year ago, they were in the 5% range. Now they're in the 4.2 to 4.3 in the short end of the rates. This is not the long. This is only on the 30-day scenario. These are the rates that are available now in the different 5 different investment pools that we have. So it ranges from 421 to 429. That's the investment report for the month of June. What questions do you have?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dr. Mesqua, the investment portfolio is at 61.3 million. How does that number translate or relate to our debt service fund? Which,
We don't have a debt service fund.
no?
The debt service fund, all we do is basically transfer on the date of the payment, we transfer from general fund to the debt service fund. Because we don't have a debt service tax rate.
So the debts, or the debt that we have, the 55 million? And another 24 million
In interest?
of interest? So those numbers don't relate to each other, what we have invested?
No, that's the debt that we're gonna pay somebody down the road for the next 30 years. This 61 million is basically cash.
So why do we say we have 30-plus million in fund balance, not 61?
Oh, because some of it is construction. We have, right now, if you see in general fund, out of that 61, is 49 million is the general fund as of June. As of August, we're probably gonna end up with 30 million. Because we haven't spent, we have over $13 million in excess right now, which are gonna get spent in the month of July and August.
From the bond issuance?
No, from the taxes, from this year's budget.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then we have 10 million that is in the construction fund, 829,000 that is the workers' comp, retirement leave fund, 1,055,000, agency funds 58. So the total of all these is 61 million. So the 30 million, when we refer to fund balance, is only this portion right here. And out of this is gonna end up being around 30 million at the end of August, because we're gonna spend the difference in the month of July and August.
And the debt service payments?
And the debt service payments that we're gonna
Come out of
make,
the general fund?
they're gonna come out of the general fund. So we're gonna end up with about 30-some million in August.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was just gonna mention, of course, the Fed's held it steady today, but you can anticipate, them decreasing if we have any more meetings with the president, so.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to our consensus action items. I'd like to start by pulling item 7C. We're going to pull that for modification of the motion, not necessarily for discussion. Of course, we can have some discussion on it if anyone would like to have some. Any other items anyone else would like to pull? Trustee Duhan?
I spend more time fighting with this microphone. F2, please.
F2. All right, so F2 and 7C. So we'll pull those two items. Okay. All right.
I'm good, Madam President.
Yes,
Let's do D8 for me, please.
D8. So recall that if you would like to have a discussion on any of these items, we can lump that into one motion and then have a discussion on all the items you'd like to discuss instead of pulling them. Would you still like to pull the items you've requested?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to pull 7C, D8,
Yes.
and 7C. I'm sorry, F2. Okay, so it's going to be 7C, F2, and D8. All right, and with that, do I have a motion to approve the consensus items? Moved by trustee Davis.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Gantu. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor? 2, 4, motion carries 6-0. All right, so we'll start with consensus item 7C. I need a motion. I can move, right, even though? Okay, so I move to consider ratification of the following grant awards. So consider acceptance of the notice of award 06CH013307-01-00 from the Department of Health and Human Services, Administration for Children and Families, Office of Head Start for the operation of a Head Start and Early Head Start program in the amount of $7,022,898 for the budget period of 7/01/25 through 12/31/25. And then I'm going to say all of it, and we're just going to approve all of it together. Consider acceptance of the grant award extension to end of date from Texas Education Agency for Case for Kids, Nita M. Lowry 21st Century Community Learning Center, Cycle 11, Year 4. And consider acceptance of notice of grant award, extension of end date from the Texas Education Agency for Case for Kids, Nita M. Lowry 21st Century Community Learning Center, Cycle 12, Year 2. Do I have a motion? Oh, wait, that's my motion. Do I have a second? So second for from trustee Gantu. Any discussion?
Just to clarify, the motion is to change it from acceptance to ratification.
Correct.
Got-
All right, all in favor? Okay, motion carries 6-0. Next, we have item D8. Consider ratification of amended interlocal agreements for fiscal year 2025 Case for Kids, Nita M. Lowry, 21st Century Community Learning Center, Cycle 11, Grant, Year 4 grant, to extend the date of grant from period 8/1/24 through 7/31/25 to now read 8/01/24 through 9/31/2025 for all of the following entities. Moved by trustee Gantu, seconded by trustee McGee. Discussion.
I just wanted to understand the entities and the sharing of this resources that we're providing.
So on July 1st, when the federal government did not release the funds, the Texas Department of Education, from the other item, issued new notification of grant awards. So the original end date was July 31st to let us spend that first year money through September 30th. And so this is the interlocal that then ripples from us to the district. So it went from feds to the state, to TEA, to us, and then these are the interlocal amendments with the districts to extend the date to allow us to continue to operate on that first year of funds before we knew the next year's were going to be released.
Trustee Duhan?
So if this is just a situation created by those holds, why is it only these specific ISDs and charter and associations listed?
Right, so Cycle 11 and Cycle 12 each have, one has 9 campuses and the other has 10 campuses. And so these are the specific sites and school districts on those specific funding streams. And our partnership project, which is completely different, supports other schools.
Okay. Are there any schools or districts that got denied the usage of these funds that are missing from this?
So not at this point. So the federal government did end up releasing the funds, and so these schools will continue forward. So these are the federally 21st century supported schools. And so in the end, everything is going back to normal for this next fiscal year.
Okay. I do believe that answers my questions.
For now.
Yeah, for now. Thank you.
All right, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor? Did you have anything else?
No, we'll watch it.
Are you good?
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
All in favor? Motion passes 6-0. And lastly, item F2, consider approval to amend CH Local fiscal year 2025 to increase Blue Nightly Security LLC by $60,000 to the aggregate amount of $310,000 for security services. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Johan, seconded by trustee Davis, and any discussion?
Just an explanation, please.
Yes.
Absolutely. So at the beginning of the year, we do our contract so that we can cover security services for HCDE. Throughout the year, we might have things come up such as one weekend, we didn't have any alarm system here at the Irvington location, so we had to hire them for the weekend. We had construction things that were going on that weren't included in that contract. So over the year, we have had instances where we've had to call them in that were not planned for, that were unforeseen, and so that resulted in the increase of $60,000.
So what you're telling me is that last year's budget was not enough for the expenses that were required.
Correct.
And so you're just accommodating for assuming that there might be additional expenses.
Some of these we have incurred and some we will be incurring, but we just don't have enough in that item to get us through the rest of the year.
Okay, so it's not allocated specifically $60,000 for one particular contract?
Absolutely not, no. No, it's to get through the rest of the year. It is specifically for the Blue Night contract, but it's not specifically for one event or one service or something like that. Does that clarify that?
So you're basically saying you're having this contracting for a resource in the event you need them, not because you know you need them.
Correct. So, absolutely, no, ma'am. So we contract for them to be so many hours at Irvington, we contract for them to be so many hours at adult education, and we contract them for a certain amount of hours a day, so many days in a fiscal year. At some point, there are times that we have to hire them for other events. So for example, we had the alarm system here was not working, so we had to have them here. We had to have somebody here to protect the building. So that's additional cost that wasn't foreseen in the contract. So we have used the allocated budget for that item, for that particular company. We've about exhausted that, so we have to extend that so we can finish out the rest of the year.
So the 60,000 is for this, that we're still in
This
the
year.
same budget, right? Okay, so what is the amount that has been used so far? Do you have that?
Do you have that calculation, Dr. Amesqua? 240-ish? I think on our last calculation, it was around 240 that we had utilized. And so the business office did a rough calculation to see what would get us through the rest of the year, and that was what was seen to get us through the rest of the year.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
it does.
I had a question. Once our budgeted, it's just a contract, we need to cover it to make sure that the contract covers the expenditure that we're gonna have.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee McGee?
And I was just going to ask as well, do you foresee this being the need for next year as well?
Like, I don't wanna keep like an as needed, we're so good at planning proposals that, when you have them in a contract, that's fine. Especially when we're talking security or something like that, in the event we need. So if we know the superintendent, I have trust that moving forward, we can do a plan, so we'll know what we need. Go ahead.
I think one of our biggest anomalies this year has been the construction on this building. I mean,
Correct.
think about it. We've renovated every single floor in this building, and the contractors we've had have worked round the clock, and they've come up on the weekends, and when there's really no HCD employee here, so we need to provide some level of security. There's always issues with people stealing equipment, from our sites. This has happened at the adult ed construction site, and trying to keep people from just coming into the building. That has happened an awful lot. So this building really needs constant security, whether we're in here or not. But certainly with the system down, but I think the biggest anomaly that's different than all the other years is them working around the clock to try to get this boardroom ready, the fourth floor, the third, the second, and the first floors.
Yes, sir,
So I don't
absolutely.
foresee, this is a rare occasion where we've had to make an amendment to the budget for security.
Okay.
Especially at this amount. That's not common at all.
Well, with that, it does sound like perhaps it won't need to be worked into next year's
That's what I
budget.
was asking.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Right.
saying. I don't know that this would be a reoccurring event. Yeah.
Yeah, Lord willing, it won't be a reoccurring, because, I mean, we had several different incidents that happened this year that caused us to, and luckily, we partner with a good service that when we call and say, they've cut a line, we need you guys to come and be here in 2 hours, can you come and serve the weekend? And they have, and so, but the result is this increase.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification.
Yes,
And if it does, we trust you. Bring it back to us if you need some additional funds, as you always have.
thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor? Motion passes 6-0. Moving on to non-consensus action items. Item 8.1, consider approval of the Harris County Department of Education fiscal year 2025 through 2026 proposed annual budget totaling outflows of $156,736,471. The adoption of this budget also incorporates the 2025 through 2026 salary increases and schedules recommended by HCDE administration. Do I have a motion? Motion, trustee McGee. Seconded by trustee Gantu. Any discussion? Trustee John.
I would really like the consideration of an increase to case to be included in this budget. And if that takes further discussion right now, then now's the time to do it, right?
Well, I guess my first question would that be at the expense of approving the budget as presented? Because we were supposed to try to get the budget approved last week, and here we are a week later, and now we're wanting to amend the budget. Is that what you're suggesting?
Well, we weren't able to have the full discussion on whether or not that was included.
We had a budget meeting.
Sure. I think it's really important to include this, and if that requires us having a discussion now and not being able to pass it, if that's the legality of it, I think it's important to include it.
Just real quick. So Dr. Amesqua, I want you to refresh us because there was some issue with the numbers that were presented initially, and it looked like we were spending less money on case this year as we did the previous year, and those weren't the accurate numbers. So could you please present the accurate numbers?
Well, the overall is 1.7 million that we're going to be spending from local funds from CASE. We do have the funding.
1.7.
The 1.7 million includes 550,000 for local funds that we use as match towards HCAC that basically matches, we use that as a match. And that 550 comes from local funds. Then there's 185,000, something like that, in local funds for various programs in the general fund. Now, when you compare that to last year, it was 910,000, but that is because we do allocations in terms of square footage. It's not because CASE was reduced budget targeted for programs. It's just the allocation that comes out. And then you also have 350,000 that were allocated for the Crosby project with Black Cowboys, and that is right now in this fiscal year, and it's going to roll over because we haven't used all that money for next year. And it is targeted that an additional 350,000 would be allocated for that in the new year.
Well, and I asked him to do that because I'm afraid there's a perception that we haven't been growing CASE, and I would argue that we have been growing CASE, and we can look at that programmatically, or we can look at that fiscally, and sometimes they're the same and sometimes they're different. And what I'm proposing to the board is I would just hate for us not to approve a budget for something that's not the case.
And I was just going to ask too, is that you show the amended case budget versus the next year projected budget. And so I would imagine in that amendment, there have been increases during the course of the year.
Yes, there are.
And so it's really not an apples to apples, because once we finish the year, we'll actually add to the case budget based upon that amount that we carry forward from this year.
Right, we would have to add that amount once we finish. as of August, how much is left over, and that is going to be added to the budget in the new fiscal year.
Right, I knew that's why I looked that way, because I would always show the amended as well. You've got to show the amended, but I'd propose, of course, that we adopt the budget, but isn't this an area where we could, based upon staff research or looking into it, we can amend the budget if there are additional needs that are needed by the campuses? So we identify some additional needs, give staff an opportunity to make recommendations, and I believe that's the board's role in terms of providing.
That's how the Barrett Station project
Right.
came around. It wasn't budgeted at the beginning of the budget cycle. It came in the middle of the budget cycle, so that's always possible.
Amend it.
I am amenable to that recommendation, and I just want to ensure that we are discussing the need for an increase in case. This is very important to me, that we are showing that the expansion is an option for those that need it. We're looking for the opportunity to be able to expand, and I don't think that putting $350,000 in one district is enough to say that we're expanding where all we need to be. So as long as we are on the same board about whenever we come back with budget amendments, that would be something that we'd be looking at. I'm okay with going ahead and passing.
Yes, ma'am, duly noted.
Trustee Gunter?
Yeah, so I'll just piggyback on that and say, especially when we have a $30 million fund balance, and considering we're only putting 1.7 of general fund into the program. Thank you.
These programs are incredibly effective in students' lives, and we have to put our full force intention into supporting them. And so I just want to make sure that we are being very clear about that and prioritizing that need.
I'd like to thank Case and say that we are doing a good job, Superintendent. I think all of our programs need attention. So I think we need to go ahead with this budget and do this phase approach like we've done, and continue to grow Case and our therapy services that need assistance too. And yeah, so do I need to make a motion for the budget, or where are we?
No, we made the motions, and I was just going to vote on it.
Okay, motion.
All right, any further discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes 6-0. Okay. 8.2, consider approval of contract renewal option for workers' compensation insurance for HCDE through the Texas Association of School Boards Risk Management Fund.
Go ahead.
For the period of 9/1/25 through 8/31/26, and the contract with TASB Risk Management Fund for the period of 9/1/25 through 8/31/26 in the amount of $445,218.
So moved.
Moved by trustee Duhan, seconded by trustee McGee. Any discussion? Trustee McGee? No? Really? Are you sure? Okay, all in favor? Motion passes 6-0. Okay. Item 8.3, consider the first reading of the following revised local policies: BBD, BBFA, CA, CCGB, CDA, CKC, CKE, CQC, CY, CDC, CGBA, DH, EEH, EF, EHB, EHBB, EIE, FFG, FNG, GF, GKA, DEC.
So moved.
Do you have a motion? Okay.
No action. It's just the first reading.
It's just the first reading. Okay, no action. All right. Is it 8.4?
Yep.
Consider moving the date of the September 2025 regular board meeting. Do you have a motion?
What date is that? sorry, what we can,
Well, do we have to, we're going to decide on the date and discussion?
oh, okay.
Because we don't have a date on here.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the week earlier. Yeah.
Okay, so do I have a motion?
Yeah,
Okay, so moved by trustee Cantu, seconded by trustee McGee.
September 15th.
And do we have discussion? And I believe we're looking at September 15th.
16th.
September 16th? Okay,
Oh, okay, I'm on the wrong one. Yes, September 10th, I'm sorry.
all right, this is for September 10th. Okay, so, wait, so the motion is to move the board meeting to September 10th?
Yes.
Okay, so moved by trustee Cantu, seconded by trustee McGee. All in favor? Motion passes 6-0. September 10th. 8.5, consider approval of resolution adopting prevailing wage rates for the HCDE Public Works/Construction Facilities Project. Do I have a motion? Motion by trustee Cantu. Seconded by trustee Davis. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 6-0. 8.6, consider ratification of amendment of the service agreement for fiscal year 2025 Case for Kids Leadership Academy for the period of 3/1/25 through 8/31/25 to increase the expenditure amount by $15,600. Do I have a motion? Moved by trustee Cantu, seconded by trustee Malik. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 6-0. 8.7, consider approval to purchase 4 campus metal detectors from Quality Security Systems in the aggregate amount of $76,789 for all special schools. Do I have a motion? Moved by trustee Cantu, seconded by trustee McGee. Any discussion? Yes. Would you like to discuss? Any questions? All right, yeah,
Just, is someone here to answer the
some
questions?
details?
Yeah, about the metal
Yeah.
detectors at the schools, please.
Yes, ma'am. This is to replace our old, outdated
okay,
metal
okay.
detectors. These are some of the latest technologies available.
Okay, and that's really what it's about. Got it, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
all in favor? Motion passes 6-0. I was trying to remember if we had already made the motion. All right, item 8.8, consider approval of the project delivery/contract delivery method of job order contracting and job order contract with Dependable Comfort Air Conditioning and Heating, Inc., to provide and install 3 HVAC rooftop units at ABS West in the amount of $390,000, and delegate authority to the superintendent and his designee to negotiate, finalize, and execute the job order contract. Do I have a motion? So moved by trustee Cantu, seconded by trustee McGee. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 6-0. Item 8.9, consider approval of the ratification for change order number 4 for the service agreement with Indeco Sales, Inc. for furniture, fixtures, and equipment for the administrative building renovation project to increase the expenditure by amount not to exceed $78,016, and delegate authority to the superintendent and his designee to negotiate, finalize, and execute the change order. Do I have a motion? Motion by trustee Cantu, seconded by trustee McGee. Any discussion? No questions? All in favor? Motion passes 6-0. We will now move into executive session under the Texas Government Code pursuant to any and all purposes permitted by sections 551.001 through 551.084, including but not limited to 551.071 and 551.074. We move to executive session at 2:26 p.m. The board is now reconvened from executive session at 3:06 p.m. And we will begin with item 911 to consider approval of a resolution regarding retention incentives. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Moved by trustee Cantu, seconded by trustee McGee. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. And is there any discussion about possible future action items, future agenda items? Anybody have anything? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I would just bring up the whole discussion, hopefully leading to an agenda item dealing with the budget amendment for CASE.
Got it? Yep. All right. Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion to adjourn by trustee Cantu, seconded by trustee Duhan. All in favor? And the motion passes 5-0. Meeting is now adjourned at 3:07 PM.